much.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday afternoon. I know we're running a bit behind schedule, but we appreciate you guys for joining in on us. We've got our kids watching us downstairs, so hi, guys. So today, I am very honored to be sitting down for the first time with my husband, Mick, and you get to hear about our journey, especially from the father's point of view. It's not something that we get to hear a lot from the dads, so I'm quite excited. This is a conversation that we have had many, many, many times, the two of us, privately, and today we'll get to share with you guys and interact with you guys. There's no script, there's no questions prepared. We're just gonna sit and chat like how we normally do. But please, if you guys have any questions, please post them on and we will gladly, or should I say he will gladly answer your questions.
I'll try.
So, Babe, you want to tell us, how did it begin for you, the journey?
Hi, everyone. So my journey started on the 27th. That's when Jesian was born, and yeah, that's how it started. I never had a clue about preemie babies, or should I say premature babies, and yeah.
So let's take them back to the beginning. A lot of you won't know this, some do. We were involved in a car accident 6 weeks prior to JJ being born, which we strongly believe had everything to do with his early arrival. And on the day...
On the 14th.
Yes, Valentine's Day. We hate that day with a passion now.
We don't celebrate that day at all.
Yeah. That was the day we had our car accident, and we were fine after that. And I don't know, I think it was some miracle, because we were told that day when we were rushed into hospital, because I was only 22 weeks pregnant at that time, that the viable gestation in South Africa is 28 weeks. So had our baby come before then, they would not have done anything to try and save him.
Yeah.
And through the grace of God, he managed to hang on for 6 more weeks.
Yeah.
And funny enough, we were at some friend's house the Saturday when my placenta ruptured. Yeah. And yeah, I remember I stood up to go to the bathroom, and as I got to the bathroom, there was just this gush of blood, and I screamed for him to come, and we all jumped into the car and we rushed to hospital. And in my mind, I was thinking, oh, they're just gonna like maybe put in a stitch or something. And you know, by the time we actually saw the doctors, I was doing quite fine. The bleeding had subsided quite a bit. And they booked me in, and they said they would be keeping me over for observation. So I took it as a little mini holiday, to be quite honest with you. I'm like, I get to rest, no kids around. I'm going to enjoy this. And on the Sunday evening, when the doctors came around to do their rounds, they were like, no, if everything is good, tomorrow morning, we will be discharging you. And unfortunately, at about 4 a.m. that Monday morning, my placenta abrupted for the second time. And literally, I had enough time just to pick up the phone to tell Mick that they were taking the baby out. So how was it receiving that phone call that morning?
Sure. It was a bit scary. It was a bit scary. I didn't understand why, because we never had enough. We never had enough time, we never had enough time for me and you to discuss as to why. And so I quickly jumped inside the car, woke up, bathed, and came to hospital. And by the time I came there, you're already in theater. So I looked for you. Sure. So I went to the surgery, what you call it, the theater. Went to the theater, walked up and down there for about 30 minutes. Couldn't find you. Got a bit worried. Went back downstairs. Walked around again. Eventually, I found my nurse, and then they informed me that no, you're in theater. When I went back up, that's when they informed me that no, the baby was good, and the baby was in what is it?
Premature unit.
Yeah. And that's where I went, and that's when it started. Yeah.
Sure. So you were able to see the baby almost immediately after he was born. I didn't. I didn't see him for 9 hours.
Yeah.
The first time I got to see my baby was via a picture that he had sent me. And I remember saying to him, oh, he looks just like his older brother. And
the funny part it is, because if you think about it, all our kids is when they are born, and then they all looked alike, and they were all sleeping exactly the same way. Yeah.
Sure. And so yeah, you guys had that 9 hours together bonding, and I don't know, I was not prepared at all for what I saw when I eventually got to see the baby.
Yeah. It was scary, because when I saw him the very first time, at first he was covered. He was in the incubator, so I really couldn't see his body. And I spent time with him, and then I went up to go and look for you, and because I was a bit worried, and you were still in theater, and I waited there for about another, I can't remember exactly, maybe 30 minutes, and still no word. And I went back again downstairs to the baby, and I spent time with them. I put my pinky in the incubator, and he was holding my pinky. I spoke to him, and it was scary. He was tiny, very, very, very tiny. And,
I think tiny is even not an accurate description.
Yeah.
I mean, our first baby was 2.4 kilos at birth, and that was small.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, okay, there's like a kilo difference between the two of them. It's not too much, but I never knew how big of a difference a kilo could make. And I remember the first time walking in there, I mean, I was already shocked that my baby had to be taken out immediately, just like that. I was not prepared, and they knocked me out. I was completely out, so I didn't see him or anything. And when I came to was when I got information on how he was, that we had a son, because we didn't know that we were having another son.
Yeah.
And that he weighed 108 kilos. And they said that he was fine. And that's when I said, can someone find my husband and tell him that he had another son? Those were my words. And then, so when I got to see him 9 hours later, I remember walking in, and there's no words to describe what I thought when I saw him. The first thing I was like, do not get attached. because I couldn't wrap my mind how somebody so small was going to survive. And by the time I seen him, because the picture that you had sent to me, he was on the nasal prongs at that time. But by the time I saw him, they had put him onto a ventilator. Yeah. And in my mind, ventilator equaled death because it was life support. Yeah. So I looked at him. I didn't want to even touch him. I remember I was saying in my head, don't get attached, don't get attached, don't get attached, don't get attached. And I think because I was in hospital for 4 days, and actually it was something I was talking about earlier on, because back then paternity leave was only 3 days. Yeah. So I gave birth the Monday, so which means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were your paternity days. And because I was still so out of it, I couldn't even go in and see the baby by myself. That's how scared I was. I wouldn't go in and see him if Mick wasn't with me. So then you ended up taking an extra 2 days of leave. Yeah,
Thursday and Friday.
So that you could be with me while we visited the baby. And our roller coaster really, really, really began, because then it was the continuous back and forth between hospital and home, and, well, in your case, work as well. And we didn't have a car at the time because we had been in a car accident. But we were so very fortunate that one of our very good friends, they had an additional car, which they loaned to us. Actually, after the accident, they had loaned us the car so that I wouldn't have to take public transport while still being pregnant. And so we had their car. And in the beginning, it was such a lot. It was a lot because we would go. So this was our routine in the morning, during the day. We would get ready, take my eldest son to school, drop, and because I couldn't drive at that time, my mom was basically our chauffeur. So we would drop my eldest at school. We would then go and drop you at work, and then we would go to the hospital. And we would sit there until about lunchtime, where we would then have to go back home to go and relieve our nanny. And then I would try and get an hour or two of rest while my mom cooked dinner for us. And then we would all pile back into the car, including my eldest son, and we would go pick you up from work, and then we'd all go to the hospital, and they would have to sit in, my son couldn't go in to see the baby. My mom was allowed to go and see the baby when he was in ICU. And we would sit in the waiting room and take turns going in to go and see him, or I would go and sit and pump. Yeah. And that was our life for the first 2 weeks until the financial part started getting to us.
Yeah. It started getting heavy financially because of the up and downs. I mean, the up and downs where you have to go drop me at work, you go to hospital, and then you have to come back. So in essence, it was literally about between 6 and 8 trips per day. And we're not talking like 5Ks. We're not talking like from our house to the hospital, it was about 20 Ks. Going there and back, it was about 40 Ks. And then you still need to add going to my work, it was an extra between 15 and 20 as well. So financially, it became a strain. And then we decided, okay, we're going to have to switch to, my wife has to take public transport, and because I had to go to work, so it was going to be easier for me that I go to work with the car, and then from work I go to the hospital. I go to hospital, so it was much easier and convenient rather than more affordable as well. So yeah, it was financially, it was very, very draining, very stressful as well. But yeah.
So how was it you being at work? I would arrive at the hospital at 9 a.m. in the morning, and I would leave at 8 p.m. After you've had time to spend with the baby. So how was it? Because I was basically your only connection to getting information while you were at work during the day. And some days, the news wasn't always so good. depending on what kind of a day the baby was having. So how did you manage? How did you cope? How did you concentrate at work?
It was very, very difficult, and also it depended on the day as well, like you said. So it depended on JJ's day. So if JJ had a good day and when I would phone and tell me, no, everything is going well so far, it was a lot of ease on me, and also depending on if he was having apneas and all of that kind of stuff, it became very, very, very difficult for me to concentrate at work, and at that time I didn't have off. There was no time off except for that 5 days that I had when you gave birth, and so it was very difficult emotionally. Sure, finished. Physically drained.
So who did you have to lean on? Because I had you to lean on. My mom was also there. We had our friends, as we mentioned, and my extended family did a lot with when it came to praying for us and stuff. But like, who did you get? You needed to be strong for me. You needed to be strong for the baby.
Wow, sure. It was when it comes to the emotional side of it, or if I needed to speak to someone, there was no one, except for my one friend, that they were there for us from the beginning all the way to until JJ got out of hospital. And so that like, I'm always internal, and I'll always be forever grateful to them for what they did for us, being there for us.
They seemed to know what we needed, when we needed it,
absolutely.
Even when we didn't know that we needed it.
Absolutely.
They would come and just sit at the hospital. Yes. Like I said, people weren't allowed to. It was only the parents and the grandparents that could come when he was in ICU. When he moved to the premature unit, it was only us that were allowed to see him. But even though they couldn't see the baby, they would come and they would sit for hours with us at the hospital, or they would come over to our house.
I mean, there's one time where, maybe a couple of times as well, where they would come to hospital with us, they spend time with us, and they will literally leave the hospital, come to our house with us, spend a couple of hours with us. I mean, they had kids already as well, and just for them being there, it was a blessing. It was a blessing, and absolutely. So sorry, I get emotional when I talk about these things.
Also, one thing that we noticed while we were going through our journey was that not a lot of dads were around. Like, literally, I could mention the 5, if at all they were, that were there on the regular like we were. Is there any maybe advice that you would like to give to the dads? Because I think a lot of people have a misconception that the birthing experience and all of that is for the mother, especially I feel in the government facility, even though we know now that that is changing. They're trying very hard to change it to make sure that you do have a birthing partner with you and all of that. But I also feel maybe a lot of dads are also scared because they just didn't know what to expect.
Yes, it's a catch-22 situation, because some, like, dads needs to be they need to be more involved, whether it's a full-term baby or it's a preterm baby. They have to be involved in their kids, especially if the kids are in hospital for the longest. You need to bond. You need to have that bond with your child. That way, your child, they feel, there is something that I don't know how to explain it. There is a bond. There is something that gets I don't know what word to use. A, ch- a child will feel the sense and love that both parents are there, you know. And so my advice would be that please be there. Go to hospital if needed to be. If you don't work on a weekend, you go to the hospital, spend a couple of hours with your child, and that will make a huge difference. And also prayer as well. I believe in that prayer. And spending time with your kid in a hospital, it assures them that both my parents are there, and the child also will make um, uh, they'll probably they'll probably get better even sooner than expected. So yeah.
You talk about your journey of faith,
Yeah.
Which, as you guys have heard throughout these live broadcasts, how my journey began and where it is now. And when I was the one, because I was the one that was doubtful from the jump, you were the one that was so faithful, so loyal, so steadfast. You made sure that we prayed when we walked in. You made sure that we prayed before we left every single day. Where did that faith come from? Where you could have been questioning, like I was, why me, God? Why did this happen to our family? Why my child? How is it that you managed to believe?
It's before that, we had things happening, before our accident, before being JJ coming, being born. A lot of things happen in between, and before that. And I take it as I think when the accident happened, we kind of say thank God, we are alive, we're safe, we were not that hurt, we were never admitted in the hospital, but we still had this thing of saying why me, you know. And when JJ was born, and when I saw him for the very first time, um, something changed in me, just something changed. And I don't know how to explain it, but I never lost faith until, well, not until, still today. I still have my faith. I don't ever question God. And what really, really made me believe was when I saw him a couple of days later, and he was just wearing his nappy, of how skinny he was. He was just like skin and bones. And when I saw him for that, and I prayed, and my exit prayer was, not my kid. I'd rather lay there looking like that than for my kid to look like that. And from then, that's how I started. That's the first time that I prayed in hospital while I was holding his hand. And from then, I never looked back.
Yeah.
Never looked back. Never had one doubt as to whether he was going to make it or not. I believed. I prayed every single day. We prayed every single day in the mornings. We prayed in the evenings. And I even used to call the hospital 12 o'clock at night, midnight, just to see, just to find out from the doctors or the nurses to see how is he doing, and etc. So yeah, I never lost faith, and
And you were also very involved in the caring of him. Where I was too scared to even touch him, you just took charge and out of your own started changing nappies.
Yes, I was the first one, to change his nappy in the hospital, skin and bones and all. I changed his very first.
In fact, you taught me how to change.
Yes, I taught you how to change his nappy, and I was the first one to feed him, to actually feed him. Through
the tube.
Through the tube. When you had the tube, I was the first one to feed him. I asked the nurses and the doctor said, yes, you can go ahead. So yeah, it was a little bit scary because you get scared that you might break him and etc. But because of the faith that I had in me, I was never too scared. And I just went in, changed him, I took charge. And yeah.
And I think at that time, I don't know now, but everybody was so astounded to see how involved a dad was, which kind of was sad.
It was.
Because you would think it would be something that would be natural for a dad to look after his child.
Absolutely.
But I think you gained a lot of respect from the hospital staff because of that. And yeah, I think even till today, he gets glowing reviews when they do see him.
Yeah.
And yeah, that
it's a gray area because we really don't know why why the dads might not be around or involved. There's certain things that could have happened. Like we spoke earlier about being financial.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe financially the dads couldn't come, so only one parent could come, which is mom, because mom, the child needs the milk. So could be one of the reasons. And other reasons
we've
could
learned not to judge because we've seen many different things through this journey. Even till today, we still
see them.
With what we do. So we never ever judge. You never know someone's circumstances.
Absolutely.
We were very fortunate that we were able to be there every single day. And some people just aren't as lucky, and I remember even till today, there's this particular baby who I keep thinking about because in her case, her mom was also not able to come. She would come once a week, once every 2 weeks. And she and JJ were they were always together wherever they went. And I would remember when I walk in the mornings, I would greet him, I would greet her. Until today, I still wonder, where is that baby? There were even times that I wish, but I would never do it because had it been me, I wouldn't want someone to do that. But there were days when I was kangarooing JJ and I would think, if only I could kangaroo this baby so she could get that love and that, but I would never do that because I would never have wanted to walk in and find my baby on someone else's chest. But just little things like that, I would think, and it broke my heart. I remember us discussing it many times, like what can we do to help parents to be able to physically get there? Like, do we start, I remember you had an idea where we should start something where we can get bus tickets. So that parents can at least get on a bus to get to see their children, because we saw the power of us being there. What a difference it made in our baby's journey. Like you guys would know that most prems are discharged close to their due date. We got discharged a month before our due date. And this coming from somebody who was struggling so hard to breathe on his own. And we feel it's because of our presence, of us being there day in and day out, being so involved in his care and asking questions. I know a lot of parents are scared. I was scared in the beginning as well to ask things, to do things, to say things. I was lucky that my husband was a very in charge person. And so he made sure he knew what was happening. Why this, if they would do something, why were they doing this particular thing? And so with time, it allowed me to gain confidence as well to also question, okay, so if you're doing this, excuse me, why are you doing this? And I just wish that all parents had access.
Yeah, true. It's scary because of if parents, we saw it firsthand whereby, some mummies were unable to go to hospital, every day, and still the child still needed breast milk. So the only way was that mommy had to breastfeed, come to hospital, give the breast milk, stay there the whole day or the half a day, whatever the case may be. It's very, like I said, it's a gray area because you can never know really someone's financial constraints.
Or emotional.
We saw
having a child puts a strain on a relationship,
Absolutely.
whether they full term or not.
Oh, absolutely.
So having a preterm enhances it even more.
Yes.
And we were very fortunate that Prematurity brought us closer than we had ever been. Yeah. But not everybody is as fortunate, and we saw relationships crumble before our eyes.
Yeah, like I say, a premature baby requires a lot of attention, should I say, because mommy has to be in the hospital at least minimum between 7 and 8 hours a day, because you got to remember, you need to pump milk. You need to give the baby milk. The baby needs to have enough milk that if you during the night, because you need to express for the day, you need to express for the night that you're not there, and then still come back in the morning and do the same thing over and over again. Now imagine not having a breast pump. Yeah. Now you need to use look, ladies, I don't know how that feels, but I suspect it must be painful, because now you need to use your hands to pump that milk out. So we saw a lot of those things happening right in front of us. And it was scary, because one, you're looking at the child, and the child, it's the incubator, or the in what you call it, your CPAP. And the parents are fighting right there, and I think it affected a lot of parents because of that. Not only emotionally, but financially as well. Remember, financially causes a lot of things. Mommy might come and say, I need a breast pump so that my milk can sustain the kid. And as a dad, you don't have the money to go and buy a breast pump, and you kind of take out your emotions, because now you don't know what to do. So yeah.
Yeah, there's so many different aspects.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How was it being the milkman?
Oh man!
Many a times he used to come and knock on that breastfeeding room door. Come here to fetch milk.
Oh yes, I used to
and also waking up during the middle of the night, when I used to wake up every 3 hours
to keep you company.
Yeah.
So it was a good spot.
Yes, you are. That's why I call him. He's the Mr. Everything.
Yeah, look, it was scary. The times where I used to come and knock to come get milk, there were too many ladies expressing, and so I literally had to close my eyes and just put my hand out there so that I could get the milk and come out. Sometimes, one eye might slip open, and you see a whole lot of things, and you tell yourself, I am never going back in that room. So it was fun, good times.
And I remember, because when we were in ICU, we were allowed to both be in at the same time. Yeah. But then when he progressed to the premature unit, it was only one parent allowed in at a time. And I remember, because during the week, I would spend most of the time with him. On the weekends, I would leave you the whole time with him. I would literally I was just there to provide the milk, essentially. I would sit in the waiting room for most of the time. It's between the waiting room and the milk room, while you sat and you spent time with him. Do you think you guys spending so much time gave you that better bond? Because he seems to like you more than me, even until today.
It's not like, it's love,
I thought it's supposed to be mommy's boys.
No, but I gotta remember, I saw him first, and he had my voice first than yours, and also I think me spending more time with him, and me talking to him, not only just going in there and just sit and look at him. You gotta, as a parent, you gotta involve, you gotta speak to the child, assure the child, and also when you're going to see the child, and I'll always emphasize on this, be in a good spirit.
Yeah. And I know it's difficult. We always tell our parents, before you enter that room, scream, shout, cry, whatever you need to do. Let it all out. Yeah. The minute you walk through those doors, only exude positivity. It's hard. It really is hard. We know, we've been there.
Yeah.
I mean, doctors have caught me crying on the steps of the hospital. Okay. But I made sure, I tried very hard. And I wasn't very good at it because many a times I did cry next to the baby.
Yeah.
But most of the time I tried not to. We tried to just be positive all the time. I think you only had one breakdown.
Yeah.
In front of the baby.
Yes, I only had one breakdown, but I quickly recovered. I took a walk outside and cleared my head. I remember I walked down the stairs, and I just cried. I cried. I let it out. I went to the bathroom, washed my face, composed myself. Came back up, and I even apologized to the nurses as well.
I think everyone was shocked because
yeah,
you had been the strong one.
Yeah.
But I think it's so wrong for us to think that men don't have emotions.
Oh, men have. Men, you see, with men, you ask men, we suppress those emotions.
Yes.
And until one day that something happens, and us men, we cry in buckets. We cry in buckets. We put everything in one bucket, and the day something just goes wrong, and we just cry. We take everything out of that bucket and we just cry. So, and I don't think you saw me cry. You never saw me cry that day.
No, that day I saw you cry because for the first time the roles were reversed, and I had to be the strong one for you and for him because. So the scene was our baby needed to have a stomach x-ray.
Yeah.
And I had to literally pin him down in order for them to take the x-ray off his stomach. And the baby went berserk, which ended up making my husband go berserk.
Yeah.
The machines were all screaming. And here I am trying to hold it together for the both of them. And I think everybody, nurses, doctors, the radiographer, everybody was in shock that night. But we managed to get the job done. And like you said, it took a walk. Everybody calmed down. And we came back and we soldiered up and we continued.
And I remember the doctor came and called me aside and said, "You don't need to apologize. I understand what you're going through." I'll never forget that. And spoke. And I felt better afterwards, But I did apologize and stuff and etc. And it's just that I think all the emotions just happened because of what is been through, all the way leading to that point, and I just couldn't take it anymore, and it just came out. But that was the first and last. It never happened again. So yeah.
And then so we spent a very long time in ICU, right? Out of our 54 days, 39 were in ICU. And the hospital that we were in has a 3-level system. So it's the ICU, it's the premature unit, and then it's the kangaroo mother care unit. And as soon as our baby left the ICU, well, he did try to leave once. They did.
He left for one day.
Yeah, and then he had such a terrible episode that they ended up taking him back to ICU. Yeah. And he stayed there for a little while longer, and then he came out again. And when he came out the second time, he never went back again. And the process then just started to accelerate. He started growing so fast. I mean, so there's different rooms in the premature unit. So there's where they need breathing assistance, and then there's where they don't need breathing assistance anymore, and then there's where they are strictly breastfed now. Yeah. And he transitioned really fast.
Absolutely,
through there. And then next minute we were in the kangaroo mother care unit needing just a mere 10 grams to go home.
No, but you know what? Before that, when he was in the second room, the
breastfeeding room.
Yeah, the breastfeeding room.
Oh, I know you could wear clothes.
Yes. Yeah. There you could see how well he was doing. And he was breathing on his own. I could feed him, change him, play with him, talk to him, change his clothes. And, that's when I realized that having faith and being there, look, not all parents can or are able to do that, but just being there, speaking to him and or speaking to your child, it makes a huge difference. it does make a huge difference.
And then before you knew it, we were in the kangaroo mother care unit. We spent a very short time there. We spent 48 hours there. But that 48 hours gave me the confidence that I needed to take my baby home and be able to take care of him. And we actually came home a day earlier than expected, which was a great surprise for my eldest son.
Yeah.
But
I remember you couldn't wait to leave there.
I was scared.
Yeah.
I remember I was so scared. I'm like, I phoned him, I think, 20 times. When are you getting here? When are you getting here? Because I was scared that they were going to say, oh, no, Mom, we've made a mistake.
Yes.
You guys need to still stay.
And I remember that I was at work.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And I couldn't get off soon enough, and so my wife kept on calling me. What time are you beginning? What time are you leaving? What time are you leaving? What time are you going to be here? And
I think I only breathed a sigh of relief when we got into the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're finally leaving.
Absolutely.
But we had no idea what still laid ahead of us.
Oh, yes.
So we came home and we went straight into isolation. I remember that day that we got discharged, it was freezing here in Joburg.
Yeah.
I still remember the one doctor said to me, why don't you leave with the baby still in the kangaroo position so that the baby can be kept warm? And we had no visitors.
Yes.
So it was literally just us and my mom.
Yeah.
In the house.
Didn't these godparents come?
They did come, those friends of ours that held us down throughout the whole process. They arrived from work with a bag full of tiny baby clothes because we didn't have any clothes.
Absolutely.
They were the only ones that saw him, and we didn't have any visitors again after that.
No.
We stayed inside. In fact, I remember everybody ended up getting the flu that particular week. So he and I literally were holed up in the bedroom by ourselves until everybody was better. But we were already into wearing masks and sanitizing way back then.
Way before
it was cool.
Yeah.
When people couldn't understand why we were asking them to wash and sanitize their hands and not to come into contact with us. And then started all our millions of follow-up appointments.
Yes.
That we didn't know.
But before that, because it was so scary, because at that time, because we would think, okay, if he does have another episode of an apnea, we don't have a machine. How are we gonna know those kind of things? So you literally have to sleep with one eye open. And I still did go to work the following day. So it was
sleep with him in the kangaroo position because so that we could feel if he's ever stopped breathing. Yeah. But thank God that never ever happened.
Absolutely.
Once his apnea stopped, they completely stopped. We never ever had another apnea after that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he used to sleep on my chest. Slept from one position, like Dracula. But it was all worth it. It was all worth it. I wouldn't change a thing. Yeah. I wouldn't change a thing if I was given a choice to say what we went through and the upside of saying normal full-term baby, I wouldn't change a thing, because that way two things that have to me personally, two things that it came out of. One, faith, still today. And secondly, that we know what premature or a premature baby is. We've got knowledge of that, and we able to give advice or assist on where we can. So those are the two main, most important things, that especially faith, that is my number one.
So then we just had a baby a few months ago.
Yeah.
Were you scared that you were going to have another premature baby?
I wasn't scared. Should I rather say I'd prepared myself to say, if that was going to happen, I am prepared. And I've got a little bit of knowledge now as to what we need to do, how we're going to handle the situation. As far as scared, no, I wasn't scared. Absolutely not. No. Yeah.
Well, I've enjoyed our little chat. Before we close, is there any advice you'd like to give, especially from the dad's point of view? I mean, we are trying tirelessly to launch Preemie Connected Dads because we see the value of having the dads involved. We want to give the dads their own platform. And yeah, we want to get out more into the communities and get in contact with the dads.
From my side, I would say it's not easy. I know it's hard, but just be there. And most people forget that us dads as well, we do get emotional.
Yeah.
I know that dads they need to go. It gets hard, very very hard. It gets very difficult. Also, as dads, we need someone to talk to, and we've started like what my wife said. We've started a Preemie for Dads, whereby if you need to speak to someone, I am available. If you need to, if you've got any questions where I can assist on, I will gladly do that. So I think we will post.
Well, they can get hold of us through the page, and we will exchange details
from there. Yeah.
But thank you so much.
Thank you.
You were put on the spot yet again.
Yes, I was. I'm Mr. IT. I'm Mr.
The secretary, the Uber
driver, and
Rebecca.
Yeah, there you go. So, but I'm glad. I'm glad that I can. I'm able to do that. I know for me it's giving back. So let's paying it forward. So anyway where I can assist, I am available. I'll just leave your details on our page. I will get back to you, and
well, thank you so much, babe.
It's a pleasure. Awesome.
Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you again next week Saturday for another live event.
Cheers.
Bye.